we're good. We're gonna get started. This is so surreal. Okay, well, I just wanna say thank you so much for coming today. I'm so excited. I know Data Night Out was last night, so I'm sure everybody's a little bit tired. I'm pretty tired, but I'm really excited to be here today. So just a reminder, we're gonna talk about making Tableau adoption infectious today. So my name is Megan Peterson. I'm the Director of Analytics at Booyah Advertising, and we'll get into that a little bit, but just a little bit about myself first. Again, I'm Megan. My friends call me Mega Nerd. It could be because I love comic books. So this is me just casually outlining the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, you know, as one does. Or it could be because I look like this for a really long time growing up. Or it could be because I love data. This is me in Vegas a couple of years ago at Tableau. And so I am a huge fangirl for Tableau. I've been using it for almost about 6 years now. It's my 4th conference, but it's my first time speaking, so I'm super excited to be here. And I've used Tableau in a lot of different capacities. I started out just as an analyst, building dashboards, just loving data. And then I quickly became a software engineer because I not only love building the dashboards, but I wanted to be able to get the data myself and organize it and be in control of that. Then I became a system admin because somebody had to figure out how to use a Windows server, and so I just figured it out myself. And then now I'm the Director of Analytics. So all through that, Tableau's really been integral in getting my job done, but also helping my rest of my team get their job done as well. And a little bit about my team. So Booyah Advertising, we're a digital media agency out of Denver, Colorado. So we've got a little over 80 employees, about 120 clients. And those clients can range from industries like ski resorts and retail brands to financial services and everything in between, which is really exciting because it's really awesome information to be able to process. We work in, again, digital media, so what that means is we focus on paid search, social advertising, display, Amazon advertising, as well as creative services as well. We leverage an Amazon Redshift database, and we do that actually through a partner called Alight Analytics. They're a third-party data management platform, and they're actually here. And I don't know if you saw people walking around, oh, you've got lightsabers. They have Alight sabers, so if you stop by there, they're pretty cool as well. And we use Tableau Online, so we don't have a server, but we use Tableau Online for all of our internal reporting as well as client reporting as well, which is great because we have internal and external facing tools. About 70 different data connections with platforms like DoubleClick services and Google AdWords, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those social platforms as well. So and that just gives you a little context. A lot of my examples are gonna be more agency specific, so stick with me if you're not in the industry, but I think everybody can still apply what we're gonna be talking about. So this is our agenda. We'll just stick with the virus theme. First, we need to identify our problem. Then we're going to be talking about natural resistance. So what are those organizational headwinds that you kind of have to battle in order to get buy-in for Tableau? Then we're going to talk about our patient zero. So who are agents of change? Who are the people that we can go in and really kind of rely on to get this infection started? And then we're going to infect the masses. So kind of making an impact, spreading that globally in the organization. And then end game is pandemic, global takeover, so to speak. So first thing, we're going to talk about what is our problem. So back in 2015, Booyah sent out an internal survey, just kind of get a pulse on customer, internal focus, morale, culture, everything like that. And these were some of the results. So reports are unnecessary, tedious, they're beasts of data. I have no time to analyze the data I'm pulling in, I'm burnt out. You know, reports are taking too long, I'd love to focus on strategy. So overall, reporting was a huge strain on the organization, not only just from like a job perspective, but it was really impacting overall morale and culture. Like people just did not love what they were doing. And you know, reporting, we were just using Excel. So reporting via spreadsheets is always, it's very slow, it's manual, it's static, and it's difficult and time consuming. And these are just some examples I'll show you guys. This is for a ski resort. We're just trying to figure out their performance. So how do I get somebody to click on an ad and maybe order a ski pass or, you know, book a stay at a ski resort? And this is just kind of breaking out that performance. Internal competitive analysis. So how am I doing compared to this is a financial brand. So how am I doing compared to my competitors in a Google search, for example? Am I doing better or worse? Not great. And then this is skincare, a skincare brand. So using Facebook to target customers to buy skincare products via their website. So how can I get somebody to click on an ad and go to skincarebrand.com and maybe make an order or look around on the site? And we're all used to seeing reporting like this, you know, columns and rows and everything like that. And Booyah realized that this was a real problem. So we knew we had to take action, but there's a lot of things that go into that. So there were a lot of roadblocks coming our way. And that's kind of what gets us to that natural resistance. So there's going to be a lot of organizational headwinds. When you're trying to bring in a new product, inherently people do not like change. New processes are often met with a lot of resistance. People are really tentative about it. And yeah, I would say there's a slight battle of like a technical learning curve from Tableau. It's very slight, but you really do have to deal with resistance from people at all levels of your organization. So how can you approach it where you can get buy-in from a CEO or chief technical officer, but also get buy-in from the people who are going to be using it day to day? So that's kind of what we want to talk about now. And then really quick, again, just to give you a little context about an agency, especially a digital agency, the things we mainly care about are our clients, our client relationships, optimizing performance, making things better, and then of course the bottom line is making money as well. So at that executive level. So how do I get my CEO or my CTO or any, you know, my CFO especially, how do I get them to care about this? So of course, money matters, right? So maybe you can offer it as a revenue driver or a new profit center. Someone at Alight said originally, you don't give away creative for free. Why would you give away analytics for free as well? So that's kind of just something to think about. Maybe you can bring it in as a new profit center, and that's great. No CFO is going to be mad about that. But also time matters. So saving time on reporting so we can allocate adding value to either our current accounts, our current clients, or maybe we can bring on new business because of that. That's going to add to the bottom line. Or maybe we can spend more time. I'm not, you know, pulling spreadsheets. I'm not formatting anything. I could probably add time that's really adding value to my account, which makes the company money at the end of the day. And then culture matters. So alleviating the stress and tediousness from manual reporting is huge because that's going to help overall employee satisfaction, development, and growth, which means retention at the end of the day, which is what everybody wants. But then you've got your organizational thought leaders. So these are going to be people kind of in the middle. These are going to be like your managers or directors. They're not necessarily in the day-to-day, but they're the people managing those go-to analysts and things like that. They've got a better context about maybe client-specific information or accounts, things like that. How do you get them to care? Because they're not the ones probably building these reports, but they're in charge of the people who do. So again, client relationships, those really matter. How can we be better than our competitors? Or how is there a way for me to be unique and add value in a way that nobody else can? That's super impactful, especially as an agency. In our industry, people often work with multiple agencies or multiple partners as well. So how can I stand above everybody else? So that's just something to keep in mind. Dashboards are great for that. Time matters again. Can we take on more business with our newfound time? So maybe I'm alleviating 10 hours a week worth of work in reporting, which is actually quite a bit. So that's like a whole maybe client or two that you can take on in your business and keep challenging your employees. And then of course, again, team attitude totally matters. Eliminating that daily slog, it's gonna help with team morale, and ideally that's gonna make your employees excited or happier in their job, and I would hope that that would make you a happier boss if your employees are happier as well. And then there's our day-to-day stakeholders. So these are people, our analysts, our strategists, our coordinators, people who are doing this day in and day out, like this is their life. How can we make it better? So ease of use matters. It's gonna help me do my tasks easier, faster, and probably with a lot less errors, which is great because it's gonna allow you to kind of focus on what really matters on your account. And again, time matters, like that's the whole thing here. I can spend more time on strategy analysis and less time being bogged down by spreadsheets and reports. So that's not only, you're actually gonna be learning and adding value and like understanding your account, and then maybe on your next call or your next meeting, you can call out something cool instead of being like, I spent 5 hours building out a pivot table. And then skill development matters. So you're learning skills that's gonna help you grow your personal analytical skills, and you're gonna also be making a direct impact. My company, we're a startup, so we're a little bit smaller, but that's a really big deal is if I'm able to do some work and I can see that directly helping the agency succeed or making money or making a client happy, that's a huge thing. And by being able to contribute, that's huge. And then also, this is a resume builder. It's making me a better employee, but it's also, maybe I'm not going to be here forever. It's still going to be great, something to put on my resume that's going to make me a better employee in the future as well. And honestly, every organization is different. I'm working at Booyah now, but I've worked at another company where I've had two very different experiences getting buy-in from that. At my previous company, it was very grassroots. It was basically just me, and I had to really fight and claw to get people to look at my reports, to trust my reporting, to rely on my reporting. And it was a really difficult time, but I did it. But it took me about 3 years to really get full organizational buy-in, versus the organization I'm at now, it's a C-level objective. So this is coming from the top down. This is an agency-specific goal, and everybody's into it, and it's taken me like 8 months. So it just really shows that it doesn't matter. Every single level of your business, you need to have buy-in here to make it super successful and to really get people, you want people to trust it, and you want people to rely on it and to like make an impact and save time. That's what's important, So next we'll talk about our patient zero. So who are agents of change? So these are gonna be, how do you find these people, these power users? So one, who is burdened with most manual reporting? That's obvious, like I can help you, let me save you from it. But also there's gonna be people who will genuinely show an interest or a talent, and that's what's really important as well. Maybe they don't do a lot of reporting, but they just love the tool, or they have a general knack for the tool. That's great. Leverage them, use them, get them excited about it. So usually like when I walk into a training session or key meeting, I know that there are probably 2 people in here who are like my go-to people. They're sharp, they're effective. Those are the people I'm gonna kind of identify. And it doesn't have to be a ton. It can be, 1 or 2 to start, or 1 person per team maybe, but you need to have those agents of change. And so you wanna leverage them, you wanna encourage them, reward them, and incentivize them. So one of the fun things that I like to do, every quarter we have a big company meeting, and I have my Tableau Jedis, is what I call them. So these are just like kind of people who go above and beyond. They work really hard. Maybe they built an awesome tool that helps the team or maybe helps the whole company, but they've just kind of really put a lot of effort into Tableau as it is a agency objective. So I give them like a $15 gift card and a lightsaber, and it's a thing. But then they get kind of recognition at the company level. Everybody gets to see that, we appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your work. It's making a general impact, and hopefully it kind of incentivizes other people to maybe get their asses in gear a little bit better and work with the tool. So it's just kind of and obviously I'm very good at Photoshop, so. And then once we've got those agents of change, and we need to start spreading it. So how do we've got our people and they're excited about it, but like how do I make other people excited as well? So infecting the masses. So what you really want to focus on is the principle of least effort. And this is something that at a Boulder, Colorado Tableau user group, Steve Wexler, he's a 5-time Tableau Zen Master and Iron Viz champ, which is pretty cool. But for the largest amount of people, provide the greatest amount of information that requires least amount of effort. And that makes total sense if you think about it. And I think that's really what the beauty of Tableau is, right? Being able to make these awesome self-service dashboards that answer as much information as possible with like very little to no work on the user end. And that's really what you want to focus on. And to be able to do that, it really means you need to make ready-to-use tools. So this is actually something one of my power users built. I didn't build this. But what all we're trying to do is, in an agency, we'll get a budget. So here's X amount of money, spend it however you need to spend it to try and get my brand out there, my ads out there, people ordering my product, whatever. So all this is showing is, based on the budget that we're given, how are we spending? Just pacing, nothing fancy. But this is something, and then you can break it out by the different tactics potentially, or the different areas that you're focusing on. Don't worry too much about what exactly it is, but this is something that people in our agency do every single day, every morning. They'd come in, they'd look at all their portals. I'd look at Facebook, see how I'm doing. Okay, I'll go look over here, search, how am I doing? And it would take almost an hour every single day, almost every person in the agency. This is something that, it's not that complicated, and it's saving nobody does it anymore. It's completely eliminated, and that's super quick, super easy, and people maybe aren't even building the tool, but they're looking at it and they're using it, and it's making a huge impact in time. People don't have to do an hour's worth of Excel reporting at 9 a.m., which is great. So this is pretty cool. This is another example of a dashboard. This was actually built by, not me again, by our CFO, which is awesome. He loves Tableau, which is very weird and rare, but it's great. I love it. But all this is showing is time spent by team. So you can see the manager here, who's their employee, and then we just have time over month. And the color is just the different type of category of how I'm spending my time. Maybe it's, lunch, personal time. Maybe it's billable hours to a client. Maybe it's reporting time. But that's all this is showing. And then our reference line here is just, this is the amount of, on average, capacity a person should have per month. So people are above it, people are below it, but they're getting at it. So this is great too, because this is a report that he wasn't able to look at effectively in Excel at all. So there's a ton of reporting that he would either spend almost a week every month just getting this information, optimizing it, figuring out how we're doing. And now that's completely automated and he doesn't have to spend time on it. And now he's able to actually spend time doing other things instead of doing reporting, which is just great. And it's the CFO, so that's great too, because it's kind of a big deal. But then also really, so I know I talk about how time is important, but this is just an example of time saved, and it's actual time analysis that I've done. So this is just for a retail brand that we have, and this is just time spent on reporting month over month. So January came in, they were not using Tableau, they were building out their reports for the year. Obviously, that's gonna be a lot of time. So February it dipped down, so that's when I actually did Tableau training, and I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like as well. And then in March, they built up all of their Tableau dashboards, so that's where reporting kind of came up. But then month over month, it's just consistently decreased because they've been able to identify what reports am I building every week or every day. Let's just automate those. Pacing is a great example. And I know Tableau is a visualization product, but people love spreadsheets. I don't know why, but they do. And I'm okay with that even right away. If we're gonna build something out, just recreate your spreadsheet. That's great because you're still automating that data. You're still not having to pull it. So let's get the data in there. Let's get it going every day. One less step to pull, and then when they feel comfortable with it, they feel like they can trust the information they're seeing, then let's pull some of those key insights and indexers out of that spreadsheet, maybe put it in a bar chart or a donut chart. People love donut charts too, I don't know why, but they're pretty, I guess. But it's not ideal, but it's a start, because all I want people to do is to really start getting into the tool and leverage it, and then we can go from there, and then people can start getting creative and getting more excited about not what am I reporting, but how I'm showing it, which is the game. And part of that too gets into effective hands-on training. So it was the bane of everyone's existence, but I went team by team through the whole agency, and I had 8 a.m. trainings, 1 hour a day for 2 weeks every day, and we just went through, this was the agenda that we went through. It started super simple, how do I connect to Tableau? What is Tableau? What is Canvas even? And it turned into, let's talk about syntax, let's talk about aggregations, let's talk about table calc. So it got really advanced, but it was great because it was pretty intense and it was mandatory, so they had to show up. But it was really great because the whole purpose of it is I want to be able to empower people to get the information that they need on their own. Yes, of course I'm here to help you, but I want you at any given time, say you've got a question, you can connect to your data, you can answer the question, maybe it's not beautiful yet, but you're able to go in and you're able to get the insights that you need on your own. And that's the key, right? We're trying to empower people to really get the information that they need when they want to, and that's kind of the goal with this. So even if you just are feel like you're beating a dead horse, use Tableau, use Tableau. If you don't train people on it, it's not gonna get done. And I think we all know that, if you're not in Tableau and you're not doing it, you're not learning. So that's kind of that's where you really need super hands-on training. It could look whatever you want, but you just gotta get in there and just force people to do it sometimes. So after all of that, so we found our agents of change. We were able to automate some reports and build some stuff. So you remember those spreadsheets I showed you before, whatever, nasty. So we were able to go ahead and turn that into a dashboard like this, which is really great because this is something that the client logs in and they get to see on their own. We also share it with them, of course, but they log into Tableau online, they can access it, and it's the exact same information that was in that spreadsheet, but it's just giving us those call outs so we can see performance over time, donut charts, whatever. People love them. They're not great for distribution of things over 4, but I won't get into that. But we can just see how we're pacing, all of our different performance, month over month, and we're answering a ton of questions in such a fast way where in that spreadsheet to get this type of information would take you quite a while just figuring out what you're doing, even in a pivot table, right? But it looks great and it saves a ton of time, and it's just answering these questions. So then our internal competitive analysis, again, we're just seeing how is financial brand X performing against brand Y and Z and so on. And so we turned into this. This isn't as awesome, but it's super simple, but that's all we need. I can't tell you like who the colors are, but each line is a different competitor versus us, and then we've got just like a cost point on there so we can see that as well. And yeah, it's not special, but it doesn't need to be. It's very simple information, and that's the best tool to have because we don't need to overload people with too much stuff. And then our skincare brand, again, so getting people on Facebook, how do I get them to skincarebrand.com? How am I performing? So then we were able to turn that into this. I like it because of the black background, but, and this one's really great because this is actually something I did not build. The team built it out, and what they've done, you can't see it here, but there's a lot of actions that exist. They started using Vision tooltips. Here, if you click on this, it's gonna take me to a completely different dashboard, and this is something the client has access to as well. So it gives them, not only our internal team feels really empowered with the information, but the client does as well. So the client can dig in, the client can drill down, and now we're starting to get our clients analytically thinking, so then they've got ideas about it. So it's a really cool kind of collaborative experience together, which is great. And then end result, ideally, is a pandemic, right? Like a global takeover. Everybody the end game of all this is like not only, yeah, use Tableau or honestly any data visualization product, but I love Tableau, so that's what we're gonna use. But I want people to really, again, feel empowered with their information, feel like they can trust it, they rely on it, they use it every day for their workflows, and it's really making an impact for the company, but also personally for each person. Like, how can I make that time? And after all this work, we're now leveraging Tableau for the majority of our reporting for both internal analysis as well as client-facing reporting. And are we 100% there? No. Definitely not. We're getting close, but there's still a ton of awesome projects in our pipeline. And honestly, I don't think we're ever gonna be done. You're never done, right? Because as you're saving time and we're automating workflows, it just opens up more opportunity to develop new tools, build new insights, and not only add value to our client relationships day over day, but also it allows to make Booyah more efficient and an analytically driven agency. So that's my spiel. That's all I got.